Welcome, I'm Bill Wake. We're here working on a calculator for kilt makers, and we're working on the part that lets you design the split between the apron, which is the front of the kilt, and the pleats, which is the rear. Let's see, before I go on, I'm out the next 2 weeks. I'm going on vacation next week. I'm not sure if I'm back in time for Wednesday or Thursday, but I'm going to just cancel the classes anyway. So, or wherever these are, sessions. So I'll be back August 4th, and I suspect we won't finish today on the kilt calculator, so we'll finish that. I don't think it'll take longer than the week of the 4th, maybe just a day or two, but we'll tackle that when I get back. Hopefully we can remember where we left off. All right, so where we left off yesterday, we've got this notion of the apron pleat design. Let's get that up. So when you start entering stuff, so let's say it's 40 and 42, and notice the scenario stuff on the bottom. It's our very primitive, just kind of a debugging peek at the contents of the scenario. But if you have the waist and hip, we can tell the ideal hip size. If you didn't have one or the other, you're not ready. Okay, and it hides that. So that's good. And then you can record the length. We don't actually do anything with it. Okay. So what we have so far is this notion that this appears when enough information is filled in. What I really want to happen is I want the first one to appear with the size being half the size. Well, that's the normal way it works. You take half the size for the apron, half for the pleats at both waist and hips. So we don't have the table showing yet. I just want to get it right, get the views right. All right, so let's see. So where we left off, notice I typed 40 in over the blank that was there, and it says waist apron equals 2. Well, that was because it was a 4. It's not, I don't know, I don't think it's updating right when we change, but I don't think it should, because that's really supposed to be an editable view that we deal with, so maybe it's okay. But changing waist or hips should reset the scenarios, because this is normally this is a measurement of a person. We don't really, well, in general, we don't adjust it. However, we do change our mind about the scenarios. So what should happen is if this changes at all, 9, whoops, I guess I can't change it over there. If it change to 9, it really should zero this back out and start over. And I want it to start with the first one ready. I don't know if I want to put a little plus button on the bottom or detect, maybe that's the easiest. You want a new scenario, just put a plus. Okay. All right, but we left off changing these does not change the scenarios. Okay, so 90 waist, well, am I there? 90, okay. Let's see, it's apron pleat view. Okay, so what we have is if measures allow scenarios changes, meaning you've filled in both these things finally, then we want to create a scenario. Now this, well, new allows scenarios. So this is the new value of that variable. We'll have to be careful here. Okay. And I don't have a unit test for the on change because we don't really get access to that aspect of the view that way through the model or any of that stuff. What I am wondering though is this seems like if it allows scenarios, then those things are defined, so that's fine. But This is scenarios, scenarios, scenarios. Append, the only thing that's coming in is measures. I think we can move this method over to scenarios. Okay, so let's do that. I'm going to move it and then work on it. Okay, so what we don't have, well, okay. This is all self, so self append and self.clear. But what we don't have coming in is the measures. And I think we could just pass those along. Well, yeah, I think if we just pass in measures. So let's make this take a measures, Kilt measures. Okay. And then it's using them, that's fine. Change scenarios. We want to pass in measures. All right, now, okay, does this one, okay, let's add measures here too. Okay. Should be good. All right. Nothing should affect unit tests on this. Let's see, I've lost my view of you all. Okay. And running doesn't really care. Okay, so now we can call scenarios dot change scenarios. Is that going to be right? Yeah, it changes scenarios. Oh. Well, I hit run. We'll take a run. Okay, so I put in something here. When I put in something here, the first thing this should create this new scenario view. Okay, it's got two because we dummy created one. I don't know if I, let's see, we had a starting value, which we're going to get rid of at some point. All right, but it does create the new scenario when that's available. And then when it's not, it goes back and it deletes them. Okay. And let's take this method out. Okay, so if if the waist changes, it should throw that away and start over. Okay, so let's add that. Measures dot actual waist. And this is measures dot allows. And this is measures. I don't know if there's a oh. I think this is complaining because of this double question mark. I don't know. Let's comment out one. Type nothing cannot conform to equatable. Okay. Can I make a double question mark be equatable? I don't think this will work. Maybe I should make that Swift UI. This variant that accepts no parameters. None of these are. I don't think optional is going to help me, but let's try Swift on change on an optional type. On change of some selection. On change of selection, optional, not allowed. On change value fee. Expects an argument, so you must use the correct implementation. On change of some with selection. Am I missing a... Oh, maybe I'm not referring to $0. Sure enough. Yeah, okay. All right, so let's run this. I don't know if I can detect on change of multiple values. Well, I thought there was a way. Okay. Deprecated. This is the one we just looked at. I don't know. Let me try it. Well, no, what would it do? Okay, let's see if this works. Okay, first time, I'll put this out. Okay, it creates this with half the size of the waist. Okay, if I change this, this should now add one with that. Okay, but it didn't clear out the old one. Well, this is really, I think, if it says, I think we want to clear it no matter what. Okay, now I've got this over here. I can check it, so we'll probably do that at some point. All right, but what I'm saying is, if somebody says change it, well, if the value goes false, no more, the scenario isn't legit anymore. It should clear. However, if the scenario, if it changes to true, well, it's going to append a new one. Okay, I think this is okay. All right, so I'm going to put this in 40. All right, and then when I hit the 4, it makes it legit with 2, but let's make it 8. Okay, now, yeah, that does the right thing. Okay. And let's do the same thing. Good grief, but okay. I don't think there's a sort of way to say it. We want to monitor actual hips. Actually, we're going to monitor ideal. Allow scenarios, actual waist. It's really ideal waist. And I'll show you an example where we can tell the difference. Okay, so this should be hips. All right, so we'll enter hips 44, waist 42. Okay, so the 4 put out the first one, the 2 gave us the second one. All right, but the let's make this 40. Okay, now notice the hip, ideal hip is now 42, which is the actual. Oh, I don't know. And that'll get two of them closer. It maybe there's ideal waist, ideal hips. These are all measures, right? Yeah, we can do something on the scenario side, right? It knows if either one of these things is changing, I think. Okay. So here, if I change the hips to 41, it doesn't change the ideal hips, and so nothing else updates. But if I change this, it does. Okay, which I think is the behavior we want. If let's make this 35. Okay. No update. No update. Now it updates. Okay. Yeah. All right. Yeah, that seems nice if well, it's really on measures. Okay, let's take out this initial one. Okay, because I think we should start out empty. There's no point to have two in there at the first time. And now we clear them, so it doesn't matter. All right, let's make sure everybody's test-wise is running. Yeah, I don't know. That's a good way to ask. I don't know if this will get me anything. No. Yeah. Okay. Well, that's kind of what we're talking about doing. Combine publisher. Yeah. Now, I don't know if, can we detect the changes, whoops, in, where's Kilt measure? So my idea was to have something that detected actual waist, actual hips changing. I think I'm going to let this sit. I don't want to do something that publishes multiple fields, and it feels like that's just pushing the difference. Well, that's, yeah, it's kind of, Well, that's kind of like what they're saying. Or this is sort of like the tuple idea, right? We would make a waste hit values. Right. A description. I don't know if they have to be. Yeah, that might work. Yeah, let's try that. All right, so I guess did this example. I lost this one. Array of string, I guess. Well, I'm just gonna make it two doubles. Oh, can I do that? I don't know if this will work. Okay, so, well, let's finish the test. Then if I set m dot actual waste equals 20, well, that's a question. Well, Kilt measures. Well, no, unfortunately, that's not true, right? Two different values can have the same hash value, so it's likely. I mean, if they're different, they'll definitely change, but they could be different and not get marked, as a different hash. But if it works with a tuple, should it not work with a struct? Well, in a way, you'd like to think that this, if it's equatable, right? I mean, all right, let's right, in a way we'd like to just say, did kilt measures change? And I don't know, maybe the like we took a different approach with our scenarios. Let's get down to right. Those guys, they're using structs. So the array of them all is an object, but the actual values are not. I wonder if that's like, it's kind of a missing link for me. Because remember, we went through all this stuff about observables being observable and stuff, and this kind of bypasses that. But I mean, really, I'd like to say, okay, let's see. Can I say it? Let's find that out on Apron Plate View. What if I just say on change of measures? Does that work? No. Oh. Nothing in. Instance, okay, conform to equatable. That shouldn't be too hard. It's just a few doubles. Will it give it to us by default? Okay, I gotta do it manually. That's fine. The only three fields are these three, right? So actual waste. Actual waist, actual waist, actual hips, actual length, LR, LR, LR. Okay, I think that's okay. All right, but if I do that, are you okay? Do you build? Yes, okay, let's comment out these. We'll run. Okay, 40. Nope. Oh, no, I don't have both yet. Okay, 44. 32. Okay. Well, I don't know. It doesn't work. I guess that's the starting point. Okay, let me change this equatable. I don't know if I'm getting into a bad. Let's make this ideal. And let's leave off length. Actually, I don't really care about length, so if it changes, it triggers a change. That's okay. All right, let's run that. Right. It should have become available. Oh, no. Right. Okay. That does not appear to be working. All right. I'm going to let this go for now. Gosh, it was a good thought. It sure seems like it ought to be doable. But I suspect, I don't know. I'm wondering, I guess I should say, if I made measures a struct, would things just work out easier? Okay, let's make sure this still works. Yeah, it was worth a try, definitely. I could swear I saw something that took a list of these, an array of these values, and let you mark them all at once. But yeah. Okay, so 42. Let's add the length just to make sure. And 40. Okay, there it did. All right. 40. Okay. Yeah, I think we're back to where we were. All right, and I'll make sure tests run. And this is reset scenarios when ideal waist or hip changes. Okay, and let me add a to do. Okay, this we've done. Forgot what I called today. Okay, let's say should Kilt measure become a struct. All right, button to keep scenario. Yeah, that's a different thing. Well, let's add scenario first. Okay, so what I'm imagining, well, I don't know, a lot of times you would see it up on the top, but a plus button somewhere that lets you add another scenario. And that sort of makes these want to be a list of scenarios. Right. Okay, so not sure the right place for that. Well, I think I just put toolbar on the bottom somewhere. Yeah, placement. Oh, only when we're inside a navigation stack. Okay. Well, that seems like a reasonable. Let's see if I can just do it like this. Oh, interesting. It gave us its own background, which I'm not too bugged with. That's a neutral background as well. This one we jazzed up a little. I don't know. All right. So we need to add a toolbar item. Yeah, I think just this. Oops. I guess that's not copying. Toolbar cannot be used on view. Well, maybe I've got to wrap this whole thing after all. That? Yeah. Okay. Button. Oh, we want to. Oh, there's a button. Title action. That's the one I want. If I take this, there we go. And then the label can just be a view. Well, let's run it. I should just print a little console message. It's always present. I'd really like it to only be there if enabled. I imagine I could just do the opacity thing. Okay. Okay. What's he going to do? Well, he wants to do the same kind of thing Scenarios does already. Really, we want you to give us the measures and then we'll do it. In a way, I could just give this thing measures. Okay, if I hit plus, I want to see another one of these show up with 43, 21 and a half. Cards multipliers within the collection. This will give undesigned results. Okay, our measures need IDs. Scenario splits need IDs. I think I can do that. UID. No warning. Okay. Oh yeah. That's a good question. Let's run it. I don't think it's there. Yeah, I don't think it's there. But I feel like I'm running faster than my legs can keep up in a way. Okay, so we got scenario split. This bit, like, you know, when it was just clear and a pen was just a pen, like, that's not going to go wrong. But we got multiple scenarios going on now, and we don't have any tests for this thing. So I think let's commit and then add some tests around these scenarios. and I wanted to run it. Just make sure the scenarios go away when we delete things. Okay, if I change this, it should delete and adjust. If I totally take it out, it should go away. Okay. All right, so add, can add new scenarios once one exists. And clear scenarios if ideal values change. I think we did that one already, but okay. All right, now I think we need a scenarios tests. Okay. Do I care about the count? Well, scenarios is public, so I guess I can look at it. Okay. Let's check that clear reset scenarios. I think we'll kind of append on the way just for free. Let scenarios equal scenarios. I do have these coupled now. All right. Okay, so I think I've got that for setup. I append a measures. And let's check that is 1. And I'll clear. And check that it's 0. I suppose I should check the append first. And then I don't need this. All right, these tests are already annoying me. But if I append, then scenarios dot first dot scenarios dot first dot that should be a split sub. Okay. First sub waste should be equal to 20. Type expression is ambiguous. Scenarios. First scenario should be a scenario split. And the split sub field should be an apron pleat split. Dot apron. It's a long way to get there. Okay. First of hip. Should be 21. Is that hips? Okay, both these tests should pass. Okay, now I'm a little... I don't like digging in so far, but maybe that's the reality of the way this is. But I really don't like this. I think I can... Oh, I've got my own constructor, so I can put them in there. Okay, I can at least make the test a little more, a little less painful. Pass to call, it takes no argument. Why not? I don't have an initializer, but I guess I can make one. That's the one I would have made. Okay. Scenarios tests. Good. And I think I can reorder this slightly. Matter of fact, I think I can just put this directly in. It's a little wordy, but okay. Now, where? Oh, let's see. The first one is the variable, and it's got a field scenarios. I just don't know what I'm doing with it enough to know if it's worth making an accessor kind of thing. All right, but the thing I do want to do addresses it. I'm feeling vulnerable that I'm using exclamation points here, and what I think it should be is if you give me measures that don't that aren't proper, I shouldn't do any appending. All right, so let's make sure that happens. Okay, so if you append incomplete measures is ignored. And let's, I think we can be explicit even though it's already implicit. Okay. This should fail with a crash. Yeah, not quite that hard of a crash, but should have crashed anyway. Yeah, I know. Okay, let's try it again. Should have crashed my app, not Xcode. Okay, yeah, that's what I expected, that we crash here because we don't have this. Okay, so I'm going to say if measures dot allows scenarios, if it doesn't return. Okay, and then change scenarios we haven't tested yet. All right, I think that's a safety move. I mean, the way we structured our view, this would never happen with allow scenarios false. But I think just from being self-contained and all that stuff, I mean, originally we were pushing it to the caller to build the split and take care of that. This, I mean, I think it's okay. It's sort of saying, if you don't have the values to compute what you want, then return. I mean, I could be more explicit and check these two values directly. Maybe that would be better. Since it works, I'll do that. Ideal waist is nil, or measures.ideal hips is nil. Return. Okay. And trying to keep the readability up on this. I guess this is already not a one-liner. Okay, so if we can't compute, don't. Otherwise, create the scenario split and append it. Now, the split has the knowledge that how it divides it in half. Okay, and then let's check this one with two variants of this. Okay. Well, let's check that in. Run all tests. Yeah, my reasoning was, and I don't know, maybe it's good or bad. If I say allows values, I don't know that it really makes it safe to do this. You know, I'm grabbing stuff from measures. If I check them directly, I know that I have a non-nil waist and a non-nil hips. And so from the point of view of being able to look at this method and know it's not going to blow up, I kind of prefer this second way. It's yeah, I don't know from the abstraction end if that's safe or not. Yeah. So I can, you know, I guess if it came up like, isn't that just allows scenarios? Well, yes, it is. Is that? I don't know. I feel better about this though, so I'm going to keep it. Okay, but I do want to test the situations with the change scenarios thing. Let's see, change scenarios. All well, it clears. Let's look at this thing. Basically, it always clears, and it appends measures if they're allowed. Even if new scenarios are not allowed. Change scenarios clears even if new scenarios not allowed. Okay, so I think we have 2 tests to write. Let's make one. Put something in there, and then we're going to call change scenarios. Scenarios dot change scenarios. Is there a better word for that? New allows scenarios we're saying is false, and we're going to add a new measures. Okay. So if you create a scenarios, you add something to it, and then you call change scenarios, not allowing a new scenario, then it should fail. I guess let's keep this nil. 0. Okay, and this should pass. Change scenarios. Add this new scenario if new scenario is allowed. So this thing is a true. And, sorry, let's make this one for different values just to be careful. This one, let's make it a real one so it's got something in it. We say change scenario is true to this new scenario with valid stuff in it. Then the count should be 1. And I guess I'm going to go peek at the scenario. Okay, so you have scenarios in there, but you change the values to a new scenario. They're legitimate values. So the count becomes 1, and the first one gets half of the new waist, where presumably it had half of the old waist before. Okay, and these should pass. Boom. Come on, Xcode. I'm glad it tries to put my screen back in shape, but I'd rather it just ran the tests right the first time. I think it's something about having a new test. It just throws it off. Seems very slow to recognize them. Okay, good. Yeah, if it should. Okay, one more thing. Let's see, scenarios. Right, scenarios. The scenarios are splits, and we just added this ID so they're now identifiable. So we don't have to say ID anymore, I don't think. No complaints. Whoops. No complaints. All right. Good. All right. Well, I think that's good progress. We got the basic structure to add scenarios, which is good, and we handle the changes. So any change in this resets them. If they're there, you can add them. We don't display them very well, and they're not editable yet, but that's the next thing. Yeah, button to keep, I think that's going to come down further. Well, a little bit. Okay, so next step is our split tables, show them as editable tables. And once that's working, then we'll have the button to choose which one's the current one. Okay, let's take a break. So 3 or 4 minutes, and we'll come back and start the new design of these views. All right, welcome back. Let's see, on break I just added this navigation title, so we have a title on the screen. But we are going to work on scenario view. All right, so scenario view, it takes a split. Let's fill in some values, we can see what we got. Okay. It is going to take a split, a scenario, and it's going to display it with apron, pleat, and then waist, hips. A lot like this. It's going to look like a very similar table. And we'll have to put in, at some point, we'll add a control. So I think we've got several steps to do. One is, first thing for that is show the table. And then the second one, it's really add a, I think we're going to use a slider. And is that all there is to it? Apron, I think there is. I think that's it. Okay. So let's make sure I checked in lately. Okay, that's fine. All right, so scenario view. And then let's steal the table from up here because it's going to be very similar. Measurement table. And I'll just take it and work with it. Hips. Well, we don't need that length one, so let's just stop here. Okay, so the first row is nothing, and then it should say apron, and then pleats. This is waist, 2 values. Well, let's just display the values. Scenario dot sub. Scenario's a split. Let's go look at that thing. Yeah, we should be able to say subfield. This is waist dot apron. Pleat. This waist. Okay, this will be the same, but with hips. Okay. I think I left the title on. Oh, we should probably use formatted value. Huh. What did I do wrong? Oh, VStack. There we go. And I think some of the styling I did over here might be worth it. All right. Well, that's an improvement. Okay, let's run with it. And we'll have to make them smaller, but okay, so if I fill in some stuff, okay, I get a table. And if I edit it, it should clear it and put it in 22 now. Okay, and if my hip is 53, it should change my hips. Yeah. All right. Okay. I think in my apron, where's my view? Here. I put some padding in somewhere, yeah. Oh, I also did this kind of off camera at some point. Just to, maybe I should move that up. So the thin material gives me a little bigger view there. I don't know if I can. Yeah, I guess I can. Okay. Yeah, that's tolerable. I really want to. In the end, I think this will be half the width, so we got room to make a couple little drawings. Let's not forget those. Draw kilt shapes. In real usage, they just write AP. They might even write WH. We could squeeze it that much, but I think these values are plenty roomy, right? And we'll do our formatted values. Just like measurement table again. So we did optional quarters on those values, which is on double, so we got access to it. Let's do that. We may change our mind on these. Oops, I seem to be creating problems. Gotta find optional quarters and scope. I don't know why. Okay. It's under utility, I think, right? Double format. Oh, optional quarter. Oh no. I guess we want format quarter. Okay, because those values will never be missing. Hip dot plate dot. Oh yeah. Okay. Add view to show split. Okay. Oh, and we do our guideline analysis. Okay. Just to do, yep. All right. That's this table. These are kind of under there. Okay, so what I think we're planning, I think what we're saying we're going to do is put a slider that stretches across the two, and then if you drag it this way, it gives more to the apron. Oh, is that the right way? I think that's almost backwards. If you drag it left, maybe it should make it shorter, like the line, like the dividing line is there. Okay, but at any rate, we want to put a slider in across these two with sort of a 1/4 inch detent. It can add or subtract a 1/4 inch at a time. And then I think the most, I'll double check the number, but for now, let's say the most you can do is 3 inches. I think the most I saw was mentioned was 2 to 3. There may be some special case, somebody who's really got, wide hips or something might need some other value, but I think we can do that. The other interface approach is probably on Pleats. Well, two other choices. On Pleats, I could put a stepper. So put plus or minus, and if you go up a 1/4 inch, it comes down a 1/4 inch over here, and the total is maintained. Or I could put, if I put a vertical divider in, I could put a triangle pointing to the right and another one to the left. Little buttons that say add or subtract a 1/4 inch, because that's the scale we need for this. Although most of the time it's 1/2 inches. I don't know. It's annoying. All right, but I don't know how the slider is going to go in here. So I know there's a way you can make cells, grid cells can cover multiple cells. Is this grid? Yeah, let's go back to grid. I don't know, did it mention it in here? And no, somewhere else. There's some rule about if a row is not, okay, if you create rows with different colors, the grid adds empty cells. So, okay, this just added that, but there's a way to make a span. Would they use that word? Okay, multi-column cells. If you provide a view rather than a grid row as an element, it uses the view to create a row that spans all columns. Use grid cell columns on a modifier that's contained. Okay, let's try that one. Span the specified number of columns. Oh, okay. Where's somebody doing? Oh, yeah, okay. Let's try it. All right, so back in scenarios view, and let's try and get ourselves a little space here. I think hopefully that's readable enough. Okay. What I want to do then, I'm imagining underneath the divider, I'm going to put a new row. With no text and a slider. And a value. I'll go say waste split. All right, and this is going to be what was that columns thing? Grid cell columns. Okay, let's see the preview. Yeah, I can see that. Okay. That's now I don't know if the next slider should maybe go beneath. I don't know if that's too weird. Grid row. Okay, and then the slider value. Value, and then in is a range. A label, minimum label. I thought there was, oh, there it is, step. Okay, so we should be able to say in -3.3 and step colon a quarter. Well, that's promising. Okay, let's run that. Oops, gotta do hip split. Okay, now well, of hip split. I'm not doing something right, but let's run it and take a look. Oh, yeah. Cannot conform to equatable. Change of hip split. Why is that not conforming? Oh, I don't want to brace. Something's wrong. Where's this reach? Grid row ends there. Cannot convert value of type default. an extra brace somewhere. Okay, let's undo. Take that out a minute. Is that going to be okay? Oh, gosh. Right. So, scenario hips dot give pleat $0. Subscript is get only. Oh, yeah. So we did something like this before. Oh, maybe I just need to make a setter on scenario split. I don't remember how to do that. It's subscript. Swift subscript method. Oh, just getting set. Okay. Is that still a problem? Can I use it? Self is immutable. I don't know who self is in this context. Is it scenario? Do I pass a binding? I don't. Okay. You don't want me to do that? Okay. var, sure. Instance member dollar split cannot be used on type. Why not? It is a state binding. Instance member. No, I don't think that's right. I'm seeing a lot of bindings there. Oh, static. Yeah. Okay, everybody else happy? If you use $0, it's okay. As long as it somehow references the variable that it wants to pass in. So I can either declare a variable here, something in, and then, I could say slider value in, and then pass slider value, or I can just say $0. So that part's okay, but I'm not getting a binding here. Okay. So I guess it's something about scenarios. Like these are just simple values. Do I have to somehow make them a binding? Let's see. I have to do a lot of searching. Create binding for elements of arrays with UI. Right. Okay. This seems like our offered a workaround. And random access to an index method which is similar to. Oh my. Pass the binding of an array and get the binding of an element in the list closer. Yes. Seems like a lot of work. The only value is identifiable. It makes the binding conform to identifiable. I remember seeing this, Maybe this is supported directly now. So on my pleat view, yeah, nice. Okay, let's make sure this kind of runs. Ooh. I think we're there. The only thing is this is a difference of 6 inches because I went 0 to 3. I think I could just do -2 to +2. It's funny, like add $1 in the right place and it's all good, you know? All right, scenario view. Let's make this -2 to +2. Okay. Oh, that updated. Well, he's not doing the job. Okay, let's run. Okay, 44, 33. Wait a minute. 33. Oh, it's 44 still. Okay. 24. Oh, yeah. Okay. That wasn't too bad. So I think what this is telling me is the structs inside a class. So I've been trying to do these situations where I did classes pointing to classes, observable objects pointing to observable objects. And I think instead I just need to have classes holding structs and make sure the struct values are managed right. But this seems far smoother than what we were playing with earlier when we were trying to get those objects observing each other. So I'm good. Notice it's using that dark green highlight. That's kind of my default highlight. So that's all right. Okay, so split table and scenario view. Well, I think we've done that. Now, the size could be better, but I don't know. I think we want to add our guidelines now. Now, let's go back here. All right. So we're doing this. If the waist is greater than the hips, use the waist. Otherwise, use the measured. That's kind of the big change in our ideal. What we don't do, okay, we start with a 50-50 split. You can try other splits. The difference can be as much as 2 to 3 inches. Okay, we're allowing 4, which is probably okay. Keep the total size consistent. Yes. Hips, try splits, assigning greater or equal to half to the pleats. Let me You think that's cryptic? All right. Try other splits assigning greater than half. Oh, trying less than half to apron. Hips, less than half to apron. So that may be just wording on their part. Make sure it adds the ideal. Yeah. So this, I think we're okay. The thing is, if I think the first guideline we want is at least half the fabric, and this is waist. Well, by their wording, which I'll double check, but I think the guideline is at least half is on the pleats. Okay, now these next guidelines, a 3-4 inch difference between the waist and the hip in the apron. Apron width at waist is less than apron width at hips. Okay, that's definitely doable. Choose a hip split at most 1 inch bigger in pleat. It's worded kind of weird. Don't use a half and half split, even if waist. Okay. Check that the pleats boxes add up. Yes. Okay. And then more. Try for 1 inch more in pleat hips than apron hips. Okay. Well, I think we don't have the first concept like this thing. We want to say you should be assigning assign more than half to the pleats. Is that where's that prominent tummy thing? Equal apron pleats or pleat only half an inch bigger. Okay, we'll have to work on that. But what I think that tells us, okay, let's see what guidelines we're going to enforce or at least warn about. Want pleats greater than apron. Is that true? More than half. At least half. Okay. I don't know if we're gonna, but waist versus hips. Okay. And difference can be 2 to 3 inches. That seems like a comment. All right, but then the next one, well, it's this one. Be sure apron at waist is less than apron at hips. Or turning it around, apron width at hips is greater than or equal to apron width at waist. Okay. Prefer less than 4 inches between waist and hip at apron. Okay, that's comparing waist and hip. That's unusual. I guess if they're too different, then you're trying to really scoop it out, and that's a problem. So for a long time, it was women did not wear kilts, or it wasn't regarded as appropriate for women to wear kilts. And there's still people out there that are kind of like, let's see, does Does the greater half pleats mean it should not be less than half the pleat widths? I think what they're saying is apron is less than pleat. This is really the bottom line of it. More than half goes to the pleat. So the pleat number should be bigger than the apron number at the waist. And bigger or equal, according to this. What do they say? Assign less than half to the apron. Yeah, no, I guess they can't be, if you don't want them equal. I don't think the equal sign's gonna matter. Yeah, it's just saying, of the fabric, send more than half this way. Which in a way is weird because the apron is really two pieces. You divide it in three. The middle third is the pleated section, and then the apron, the right side is the under apron, and then the left side forms the apron. I'm not sure. I mean, and you're dividing the whole fabric, so I don't know. I'll have to ask on that one. I expect you're matching them both, though. Okay. Well, that's and more. Let's get. This is just a starter set. Okay. So I think our scenario view. I think this is pushing more on scenarios, right? I think kind of like we did in the pleat designer. I think the scenario is the right place to analyze things. So the characteristics we're checking, you could probably push it a little bit here, but I think really this thing is going to give you some analysis. So let's go to scenario split. Sorry, this thing. Is that right? Yeah, scenario split is the thing that has the two. Okay, it's the contents of the box is a scenario split. Right. Okay, so where's scenario split tests? Let's get one rule in, and then we'll see what we think. Okay, so and the rule we're going to do is, I think it's saying pleats is greater than apron. Okay, and I think that has to be that way. Pleats greater than apron, because, is that right? The waist, you want more than half to the pleats. Hips, you want less than half to the apron. Okay. And I think that's true for both. Whoops. This way. Worn if apron less than pleat. And hip. Waist. 34, we'll give we can give -1. Okay, if I guess I want to do waist. If you give the waist -1, then it's less than the pleat. Guess I'm doing that wrong. Sorry, if you give the pleat -1, you're taking away from the pleat, so the pleat is going to be smaller than the apron. Apron. It's really bigger than. The pleat should have more than half. So if the give pleat is less than 0, then it's not working. Okay, and we can do a small bit. Okay, and then I'm not sure how to. I should be bigger than apron at waist. Okay, and I think I'm going to use this should language. Okay, and warnings doesn't exist. Scenario split is the right place. Okay. And actually, I treat that like a var. Okay, this test should fail. Good. Okay. One failing. Good. Okay. Well, okay. If self-sub waist dot apron is bigger than let me flip this. I'm wondering if I can get rid of that question mark there, but okay. Let's see. All right. Add warning to scenario split if apron less than pleat. If pleat less than apron. Okay, I can tell how this is going to go. Okay, so in our scenario view, do this. I think after the grid stack. Okay, so it's a V stack, so let's put our stuff. List is probably not, I think I can just do 4 each. This is scenario dot warnings. And I think self is okay because you're not going to get the same text twice. I don't think. And let's just put text of $0 dot foreground color red. And we'll give it, I don't know what happens if it's empty. Does it still get the border? No, good. Okay, let's run it. Okay, if the apron is less than the pleats, okay, well, let's put a little padding. Pleats should be bigger than apron at waist. Nothing over there. Everything over here gets a complaint. All right. I guess we'll have to wait to see on 2 pleats and okay. Yeah, I guess from initial state you can't see it, and we don't have a real model. Okay. Well, okay, that's our first level. Oh, I guess I'll run it and make sure the box looks all right. The border. Nice. I like it. Okay. Add make display show warning on scenario split. Maybe it's from. Okay, next scenario. I'm kind of okay doing both in the same scenario thing. Okay, we'll just make this. Should fail. I guess he wants his comma. Okay. Right, we only get the one. This is hips. Now that shouldn't be any more UI for us. Oh, I wanted them all in the same box. And I thought that's what I asked for. Why is that not what I got? I'm gonna try a group. Maybe a V stack. Yeah, okay. You think... Oh, what do I have now? Do I have them both in the same box? Yes. Okay. What do you want periods on those? Well, notice I've got a space for that down here. Now, that might be a good way. Yeah. Even if this works, I think I'll take your advice. Okay, that's good. I don't really like that background there. Okay, let's move this up. Actually, this whole thing might look better inside. Okay, let me do your suggestion here first. Padding, take this off. Sorry, I got this weird, like, off 7 seconds or 10 seconds thing, so I think I'm getting your brainwaves coming from you before the text actually gets here, you know. Okay. Like the text in the let's do a smaller padding. Because it's doubled between them, so that's annoying. Well, let's move this back out the V-stack. I don't think it's going to matter because I'm going to push this in. Okay. Well, I should probably put a divider and then this. And now I know the count's there, so I don't need the opacity. Again, this is not perfect design, but I just can't imagine it mattering at the count of stuff we have. It's just not enough to worry about. But it's better to be, you know, conditional by changing opacity or enabled or something like that. All right. So now VStack puts all these border red width to. I think padding here should be okay. All right. That's all right. That's all right. I'm good. Yeah, I think that's pretty good. And the divider is nice and subtle. This vertical could be better, but it's okay. I think that'll do. All right. So we put warning. Well, added warning for hip pleats, hip apron bigger than hip. Hip pleats, moved warnings inside scenario box. Yeah. What do I call this? Guideline analysis. That one we haven't done. Apron width at hips. Greater than equal to apron width at waist. Okay. Well, I think we'll stop here. Is it just to do? Good. And next time, August 4th already, or what, September 4th? Oh, this is August. September 4th, 2 weeks from now, or 2-ish weeks, 2 weeks off and then back. We'll pick up with these guidelines. I probably will do the button to keep the scenarios before I do the kilt shapes. And I'm imagining, I think this actually, if this got half the width, I think this slider would be kind of a pain to move. It's already pretty, it's really noticeable that it's really only moving by quarters is very physically noticeable to me. And if it were in half the space, it would just be kind of really hard to target a particular value, I think. It's sort of like just one little drag motion is enough to get the next 1/4 inch. Now, most of the time they'll do them to 1/2 inches, so I don't know, but you got to accommodate everything. All right. And then more guidelines, do some sort of selector favorites button or something like that. Maybe a star in here. And but we're pretty close to what this thing needs to be. I don't have something to limit you to 5. That's just up to you. Oh, and we'll have to get that in a scroll view. Let's mention that somewhere. Scroll view. Okay, because we don't want the title overlapping that by any stretch. Okay. Thanks for joining. Let's see. So yeah, 2 weeks off back then, and have a good couple of weeks. I hope to have a good vacation, and I will see you. It'll be Monday, September 4th, 2 to 4:30 p.m. Eastern, or 6 to 8:30 p.m. UTC as usual. Thanks for watching. Bye bye.